The Upachaya houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Virgo Rising, Part 1. From precision to power, where the analyst becomes the executor and purpose is built through practice. For Virgo Rising, the Upachaya houses, 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 11th, are the terrain where analytical insight is refined into functional mastery. Ruled by Mercury, Virgo is methodical, service-oriented, and critical by nature. These houses do not offer ease, but they offer earned growth. They ask Virgo to move from evaluating life to engaging with it strategically and steadily. In the Upachaya sequence, Virgo must translate nervous analysis into confident action, personal routine into institutional contribution, and isolated problem-solving into collective efficiency. These houses teach Virgo Rising that perfection is not the end goal. Useful precision and steady output are the true achievements. The 3rd house, Scorpio, will through depth, silent power, and emotional strategy. Activated ages 3, 15, 27, 39, 51, 63, 75. With Scorpio ruling the 3rd house, Virgo Rising must build courage through emotional intensity and inner resilience. This is not the loud, declarative kind of self-expression. It is the kind that operates under pressure, in secrecy, or through transformative skill. Early life may involve power struggles with siblings, a tendency toward privacy and communication, or fear of confrontation. Over time, however, Virgo Rising learns to develop emotional courage, decisive speech, and penetrating insight. They become fearless researchers, persuasive writers, or technical experts who can handle complex problems with steady hands. The goal is not verbal speed, but psychological sharpness. This house teaches that when thought meets depth, communication becomes influence. The 6th house, Aquarius, systemic thinking, unconventional service, and innovation in routine. Activated ages 6, 18, 30, 42, 54, 66, 78. Aquarius in the 6th house brings the cool, futuristic intelligence of Saturn and Rahu into the realm of daily life, work habits, health, and service. For Virgo Rising, whose life already orbits around systems and function, this placement pushes them beyond traditional methods. Here, they are asked to reform, not just repeat. It encourages service to collective goals through technology, social systems, or unconventional work settings. In early life, this may manifest as resistance to authority or difficulty finding routine that feels aligned. But as they mature, Virgo Rising becomes a natural innovator in their field, using intellect to heal inefficiencies. They learn that true service is not about self-sacrifice, it's about smart structure that uplifts others. The 10th house, Gemini, public intellect, multiplicity in vocation, and career through communication. Activated ages 10, 22, 34, 46, 58, 70, 82. Gemini ruling the 10th house gives Virgo Rising a karmic role as a communicator, strategist, or thinker in public life. Here, Mercury rules both the self, 1st house, and the career, 10th, creating a double emphasis on intellectual delivery, communication, and adaptability. But unlike the quiet internal Mercury of the 1st, this house demands external expression. In youth, this may show up as indecision about career paths or juggling multiple roles. But with time, Virgo learns that diverse interests don't scatter destiny, they diversify it. Their public karma is tied to speaking, writing, advising, or facilitating information across systems. They shine in education, tech, logistics, journalism, or diplomacy. This house demands they stop perfecting quietly and start expressing publicly. The 11th house, Cancer, emotional goals, nurturing networks, and intuition in collective spaces. Activated ages 11, 23, 35, 47, 71, 83. With Cancer ruling the 11th house, Virgo Rising seeks emotional safety and loyalty in their social and professional networks. The logical precision of Virgo is softened here. They want gains that feel emotionally meaningful, not just strategic. Early life may bring selective friendships, reluctance to engage in group dynamics, or discomfort with competition in social circles. But as they grow, Virgo Rising becomes the emotional backbone of their teams. They are caretakers of collective vision, quietly supporting those around them while aligning with causes they believe in. When matured, their long-term goals reflect not just material ambition, but emotional resonance and meaningful contribution. This house teaches them to weave logic with loyalty. and that service is even more impactful when it moves through heart-centered alliances. In summary, the Upachaya houses for Virgo rising are the framework through which precision becomes purpose. Scorpio in the 3rd strengthens emotional communication. Aquarius in the 6th reprograms how they serve. Gemini in the 10th transforms thought into impact. Cancer in the 11th aligns ambition with care. Each of these houses matures through effort, demanding Virgo rising to act, adapt, and align not only with logic, but with vision, people, and heart. When integrated, Virgo becomes not just the analyst, but the architect of intelligent service. The Upachaya houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Virgo Rising Part 2. 8 most defining conjunctions in the Upachaya houses where logic meets intensity and the analyst evolves into the architect. For Virgo Rising, the Upachaya houses, 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 11th, are the strategic arenas where the Mercury-ruled mind must move beyond perfectionism into pragmatic execution. Governed by Scorpio, Aquarius, Gemini, and Cancer respectively, these houses test Virgo's tendency to stay safe within thought and stretch them toward action, reform, communication, and emotionally attuned networking. Each conjunction here becomes a karmic checkpoint, revealing how Virgo rising matures from critical observer into intelligent contributor with reach. Mercury plus Mars in the 3rd, the tactical communicator or the verbal combatant. In Scorpio, this pairing gives Virgo rising a sharp mind with surgical precision. It suits investigative writing, legal argument, research, or crisis communications. But when afflicted, it creates mental tension, sharp-tongued speech, or control issues in sibling dynamics. Growth comes when they use logic to empower, not dominate, and when they learn that depth in dialogue matters more than dominance in tone. Sun plus Mercury in the 3rd, the confident analyst, or the intellectual overasserter. This conjunction amplifies Virgo rising's voice and brings clarity to their messaging. They may become excellent educators, presenters, or data translators. However, ego may seep into communication, creating a know-it-all persona or an unconscious need to win conversations. Their evolution begins when they speak to illuminate, not to impress. Saturn plus Rahu in the 6th, the system hacker or the burden fixer. In Aquarius, this intense combo gives Virgo rising the genius to solve institutional dysfunction and the grit to build sustainable systems. They can rise in medicine, public policy, reform-based tech, or administrative roles. Yet afflicted, it breeds paranoia, chronic stress, or entrapment in perfectionist routines. Maturity comes when they build smarter, not harder, and trust their rhythm more than external demand. Venus plus Saturn in the 6th, the structured healer or the dutiful overgiver. This refined pair gives Virgo rising grace under pressure and beauty in structure. They serve through design, detail, or ethical administration. But early on, they may feel burdened by obligation or emotionally stifled in routine. Their transformation occurs when they honor pleasure in the process and learn that routine is sacred when approached with love. Mercury plus Jupiter in the 10th, the mastermind mentor or the diffused philosopher. This pairing in Gemini expands Virgo rising's public voice. They become known as articulate teachers, mediators, or leaders in knowledge-based fields. Yet afflicted, it leads to scattered expertise, inflated self-assurance, or inconsistency in messaging. Their path clears when they distill wisdom into utility and teach what they've lived, not just what they know. Sun Rahu in the 10th, the charismatic reformer or the image-driven achiever. This conjunction can propel Virgo rising into public fame, thought leadership, or high-profile communication roles. But it can also distort ambition, making them overly attached to reputation or driven by external praise. They evolve when they align visibility with integrity and ensure that their public voice reflects their inner structure, not just their brand. Moon plus Mercury in the 11th, the intuitive networker or the mentally scattered collaborator. In Cancer, this sensitive duo helps Virgo rising emotionally attune to their social groups. They may be counselors, HR professionals, or writers who emotionally connect ideas with people. But afflicted, it brings emotional dependency in social approval or indecisiveness in long-term goals. Their breakthrough lies in trusting their emotional compass while holding on to logical direction. Venus plus Moon in the 11th, the heartfelt contributor or the sentimental dreamer. This harmonious conjunction blesses Virgo rising with loyal friendships and emotionally meaningful alliances. They gain through nurturing, empathy, and aesthetic collaboration. But early on, they may prioritize emotional comfort over progress or confuse support with sameness. Their growth arrives when they nurture while growing and learn that softness and ambition can coexist when rooted in clarity. In summary, for Virgo rising, the Upachaya houses test whether analysis will remain internal or evolve into service that scales. Scorpio in the third demands emotional courage in speech. Aquarius in the sixth turns routines into reform. Gemini in the 10th asks them to express, not just edit. Cancer in the 11th reminds them to emotionally invest in collective gain. These conjunctions show where Virgo either hesitates or integrates, where they move from critique to conscious construction of a value. When embraced, they become not just precise, but powerfully impactful in all spheres they touch. The Upachaya houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Virgo Rising Part 3, the 6th house, Aquarius, Smart Systems, Detached Discipline, and Strategic Service, where the analyst learns to build for the collective and serve with vision. For Virgo Rising, the 6th house, Daily Service, Effort, Illness, and Conflict, falls in Aquarius, ruled by Saturn and co-ruled by Rahu. This is not a house of emotional empathy. It is a house of intelligent detachment, where the practical, problem-solving nature of Virgo must engage with systems bigger than the self. Here, Mercury's detail-oriented logic meets Aquarius's wide-angle lens. It is no longer enough to fix problems for a client. Virgo rising is now asked to redesign the system that caused the problem in the first place. This house refines Virgo's impulse to improve, pushing them to build routines not just for themselves, but for communities, teams, and institutions. It is the arena where perfection must give way to functionality and where the solitary critic becomes the strategic collaborator. Let's examine the defining conjunctions in Aquarius that determine how Virgo rising evolves through the 6th house into visionary service. Saturn's Mercury, the structural strategist or the mental overprocessor. This is a natural pairing for Virgo rising, blending Mercury's logic with Saturn's discipline. It creates a master planner, methodical worker, and sharp analyst, especially in law, public health, engineering, or policy. But when afflicted, it breeds anxiety, perfectionism, or rigidity in routine. Their breakthrough lies in letting function matter more than flawlessness, and learning that consistency beats complexity. Mars plus Saturn, the endurance worker, or the internalized pressure cooker. This pair gives Virgo rising the force and structure to carry huge workloads and initiate reforms in service sectors. They thrive under pressure until they don't. If unbalanced, this leads to frustration, tension with authority, or physical health impacts due to unexpressed drive. They evolve when they match their willpower with wellness and learn that pacing is not a weakness, it's strategy. Sun plus Saturn, the stoic reformer, or the invisible leader. This conjunction challenges Virgo rising to shoulder responsibility without ego. They may take on structural transformation roles in bureaucracies, NGOs, or healthcare systems. But early on, this creates invisibility in recognition or tension with authority. As they mature, they become quietly respected for holding order when others collapse. Their growth blooms when they own their light without demanding applause. Venus plus Saturn, the harmonizing builder or the restrained helper. This combination gifts Virgo rising with the ability to beautify systems, be it through design, healing, finance, or ethics-based consulting. But early on, it creates emotional austerity, fatigue from overservice, or delay in finding joy in work. Their evolution begins when they balance duty with desire and create order that feels good, not just looks good. Rahu plus Mercury, the digital diagnostician or the nervous networker. This is the mind of a tech-savvy reformer. Virgo rising with this conjunction may innovate through data, software, AI, or new age health models. But Rahu's obsession can distort Mercury's clarity, creating mental overstimulation, scattered goals, or unhealthy information overload. The shift occurs when they tame curiosity into design and when their knowledge serves sustainable improvement, not just stimulation. Rahu plus Mars, the disruptive problem solver, or the crisis addict. This pairing makes Virgo rising driven to fix, hack, or revolutionize daily systems, especially in medicine, crisis response, or engineering. It brings courage, speed, and rebellion. But when unevolved, it leads to recklessness, burnout, or confrontations in workspaces. Mastery emerges when they choose their battles wisely and channel their fire into solutions that scale. Moon Saturn, the emotionally disciplined healer or the distant caregiver. This gives Virgo rising incredible emotional endurance in service roles. They can work in palliative care, mental health, or long-term institutional systems. But when afflicted, it leads to emotional withdrawal, chronic self-denial, or guilt around needing rest. Their growth blooms when they accept feeling as a valid tool and stop measuring their worth by productivity alone. Venus-Mercury, the graceful system designer or the pleasing overplanner. This harmonious pairing creates a natural and holistic health, wellness consulting, aesthetics and function, UX, UI, or relationship-centered systems. Virgo rising here may bring beauty into service, but if immature, it causes avoidance of criticism, delay in execution, or overperfection. Maturity arrives when they prioritize results over polish and express their ideals without apologizing for them. In summary, Aquarius in the 6th house teaches Virgo rising to scale their service from the desk to the department. These conjunctions test whether they will get stuck in detail or rise to redesign. They're asked to serve not just personally, but structurally, to replace obsessive fixing with conscious upgrading. When integrated, Virgo becomes not just a capable worker, but a systemic healer, intelligent reformer, and quiet architect of lasting solutions. The Upachaya houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Virgo Rising Part 4. The 10th house, Gemini, multifaceted karma, career through communication, and the voice as instrument of impact, where the perfectionist must speak to lead and build by connecting. For Virgo rising, the 10th house, Karma Bhava, the domain of profession, public image, and life's mission, falls in Gemini, ruled by Mercury. This creates a unique duality. The ruler of the self, 1st house, and the ruler of the career, 10th, is the same planet. The self and the work are deeply intertwined, and both speak through intellect, articulation, and adaptability. Here, Virgo rising must learn that their career growth depends not on how quietly they perfect things, but on how confidently and clearly they share them. Gemini is flexible, quick, and idea-driven. The 10th house wants structure, status, and endurance. For Virgo rising, this means they must learn to channel their restless mind into reliable public contribution. Not everything will be linear. Careers may be multi-track, non-linear, or constantly evolving. But if they embrace this, their path becomes a mosaic, each skill, job, or role building toward a deeper reputation of relevance and intelligence. Let's explore the most defining conjunctions in Gemini that shape Virgo rising's public presence and contribution to society. Mercury Sun, the thought leader, or the overexposed analyst. This pairing gives Virgo rising visibility through intellect. They are eloquent, clever, and capable of becoming spokespeople, strategists, or public educators. But when afflicted, this creates ego-centered messaging, impatience with audiences, or burnout from overexposure. Their evolution begins when they use their voice to elevate the message, not just themselves. Mercury plus Venus, the elegant communicator, or the surface-level diplomat. Here, Virgo rising blends logic and beauty, making them ideal for careers in media, design, publishing, or any space where taste meets intellect. Their words soothe, their message persuades. But when imbalanced, they may hesitate to challenge, focus too much on polish, or avoid conflict. True power arises when they speak from clarity with kindness, not from charm alone. Mercury's Mars, the agile executor, or the verbal combustionist. This conjunction makes Virgo rising sharp, fast, and assertive in leadership. It suits high-pressure roles, campaign management, product launches, entrepreneurship, or legal strategy. But when afflicted, it causes miscommunication, aggressive tone, or mental fatigue. They mature when they balance action with timing and recognize that precision, not just speed, earns respect. Mercury's Saturn, the mastermind, or the overcritical professional. This pairing gives Virgo rising a serious, methodical public presence. They may be brilliant researchers, policy thinkers, or educational leaders. But Saturn can dampen Mercury's light, making them overly cautious, self-critical, or slow to act. Their mastery blooms when they trust their intelligence and communicate, even if imperfectly, knowing that discipline is strength, not suppression. Sun plus Rahu. the digital director or the image-obsessed professional. This conjunction gives Leo-like visibility in the public sphere, especially through unconventional, tech-driven, or fast-moving careers. Virgo rising here may gain sudden fame, especially in teaching, content creation, or thought leadership. But Rahu can distort the sun, making them overly attached to image or social clout. Their dharma is to seek impact over impression and to remember that being seen means little if nothing real is being offered. Venus plus Rahu, the viral creator or the validation-seeking performer. This combination creates social magnetism, digital success, and charm-driven public appeal. Virgo rising may gain through art, branding, or aesthetic messaging, but afflicted, it breeds dependence on popularity metrics and brand identity confusion. Their growth begins when they root their message in substance and use beauty to serve clarity, not camouflage it. Mercury, Jupiter, the wise educator or the overextending polymath. This pairing blesses Virgo rising with multidimensional knowledge and public respect as a guide, author, or visionary communicator. They can synthesize big ideas into teachable forms, yet if unevolved, they may lose focus, overcommit, or stay in theory without delivering. Their integration begins when they translate ideas into actions that land and simplify without diluting wisdom. Moonless Mercury, the empathic messenger or the emotionally reactive leader. This blend makes Virgo rising emotionally intelligent in leadership. They communicate with compassion and listen with insight. But when afflicted, it leads to inconsistent messaging, mood-based leadership, or difficulty separating personal emotion from public decisions. Their maturity unfolds when they trust emotion as a compass, not the driver, and learn that calm conveys as much authority as command. In Samurai in the 10th house teaches Virgo rising that public contribution is a conversation, not a monologue. These conjunctions determine whether they stay stuck perfecting in silence or evolve into articulate, agile contributors who shape systems, educate minds, and connect people. Their career growth is not about controlling outcomes. It's about communicating value, adapting with grace, and aligning their voice with what the world truly needs. When integrated, Virgo rising becomes not just the sharpest mind in the room, but the one who knows how to make it heard. The Upachaya houses, Conscious Growth with Time, Virgo rising, Part 5. The 11th house, Cancer, Emotional Ambition, Heartfelt Alliances, and the Quiet Art of Earning Trust, where the strategist learns to feel and the analyst finds belonging in the collective. For Virgo rising, the 11th house, Labasthana, the house of long-term goals, social alliances, and gains, falls in Cancer, ruled by the moon. After the 10th house of Gemini urges Virgo to step up and speak out, Cancer in the 11th shifts the tone. Ambition becomes personal, and networking becomes nurturing. This is not a loud or performative house. It is one where Virgo rising must learn to build trust, emotional depth, and meaningful reciprocity in their social circles and professional alliances. Cancer softens Virgo's clinical tendencies and asks, can your goals nourish not just your mind, but your soul? This house matures through loyalty, intuition, and emotional investment. Over time, Virgo rising learns to balance reason with resonance, to gain not just money or followers, but true emotional wealth through connection. Let's explore the defining conjunctions in Cancer that shape Virgo rising's growth in collective belonging and meaningful gain. Moon plus Venus, the heartfelt connector, or the approval-driven ally. This sweet pairing gives Virgo rising emotional magnetism, harmonious friendships, and a gift for nurturing creative or aesthetic communities. They may gain through artistic collaborations, women-centered groups, or emotional storytelling. But when imbalanced, it brings neediness, people-pleasing, or passive dependence in social settings. Maturity arrives when they value self-nourishment before emotional output and understand that support is sacred when mutual. Moon plus Mercury, the sentient strategist, or the mood-based networker. This combo gives Virgo rising a brilliant mix of emotional intelligence and logical agility. They thrive in teaching, healing, and community-building roles where the heart meets mind. But afflicted, it causes social overstimulation, anxious overanalysis of relationships, or cloudy long-term thinking. Growth comes when they listen with empathy, but lead with clarity, and let intuition refine decisions, not derail them. Moon plus Mars, the protective collaborator or the reactive group member. This fiery water pairing brings passion into Virgo rising's group involvement. They are defenders of their circle, loyal to causes they care about, and emotionally driven to act on behalf of the tribe. Yet early in life, this can create mood clashes, protective overreach, or sudden breakaways from networks. Their growth begins when they channel their energy into building rather than defending, and honor collective timing over personal urgency. Sun plus Moon, the harmonized influencer or the emotionally entangled idealist. This internal luminary blend gives Virgo rising a strong presence in their community. They are both felt and respected, capable of guiding group intentions through emotional clarity. But when unevolved, it leads to identity diffusion in friendships or a tendency to define self-worth through group validation. Mastery appears when they own their light without needing reflection and pursue shared goals that align with their emotional truth. Moon plus Saturn, the loyal builder or the burdened belonger. This pairing grants Virgo rising patience and responsibility in friendships and organizational work. They become the silent backbone of teams. The one who shows up, remembers, and holds others accountable. But early on, it can create emotional withdrawal, fear of rejection, or over-seriousness in social life. Liberation comes when they allow joy in duty and understand that connection doesn't always require control. Venus plus Mercury, the aesthetic collaborator or the diplomatic drifter. This charming duo enhances Virgo rising's ability to build soothing, intelligent, and creative communities. It supports work in marketing, arts, education, or wellness collectives. But when afflicted, it creates indecision, shallow alliances, or avoidance of emotional depth. They evolve when they communicate beauty without sacrificing truth and create value by balancing grace with honesty. Jupiter plus Moon, the philanthropic ally or the overextending protector. This expansive conjunction brings Cancer's nurturing energy into a broader humanitarian mission. Virgo rising here may serve through teaching, caregiving, or spiritually driven communities. But if unbalanced, it leads to emotional overinvestment, savior complexes, or burnout from overgiving. Their wisdom matures when they serve with boundaries and realize that impact grows when energy is sustainable. Mars plus Mercury, the coordinated campaigner or the argumentative ally. This conjunction gives Virgo rising a strong drive to organize, lead, or reform their social systems. They are tactically sharp and capable of leading movements with structured thought and passionate speech. But when afflicted, it results in impatience in group dynamics or aggressive networking. Their refinement lies in channeling energy through systems, not confrontations, and leading with coordination over competition. In summary, Cancer in the 11th house teaches Virgo rising that intellect alone cannot sustain ambition, only connection can. These conjunctions reveal how they transform networks into nourishing communities, and how they learn to gain not through logic alone, but through emotional alignment and loyal contribution. When matured, Virgo rising becomes the one who builds alliances through care, sustains movements through insight, and creates a legacy of trust, not just results.